Now believe me guys, when I tell you that I've been debating whether or not to make this video, I really mean it. But after serious considerations and thoughts, I've decided to go ahead with it. I've decided to stay faithful to my thoughts, to stay faithful to the purpose of this channel, and to really document my thought as it is at this moment in time, so that one day I can look back and see what was I thinking at this point and how have I changed. I've been thinking a lot, like obsessing over my body, but most importantly, why am I the way that I am? I am a Southeast Asian man. I am a Vietnamese by nationality, to be exact. What is a Vietnamese? Vietnamese, we are Southeast Asian. We are all cut from the same cloth as the Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans. Well, when people say there is only one race, the human race, I think they are trying not to hurt other people's feelings. I know my views, my ideas might be somewhat socially unacceptable or politically incorrect or just downright ill-informed, and I'm just dumb in general. I'm just gonna say it anyway. There are three main variants in terms of human characteristics, and everything else is a mixture of these things. I don't know, I am not a scientist, but this is what I have observed. You can sort of categorize the races into three main types: the white people, the Caucasoid, the black people, the Negroids, and the Asians, the Mongoloids. I mean, look at me. You look at me and you tell me that I'm not Asian. Surely not. Everything that you see here is a prime example of an Asian man. Small frame, black straight hair, low-ish body fat levels, little to no hair at all. On the chest, on the back, on the arms and legs, we have very coarse, very low amounts of hair. That's just who we are. This is the survival genes that have been passed down from generations to generations. This gene came from the most successful specimens of our people. This is the kind of blueprint that allowed my people to survive in the environments that they were living in at the time. I want to tell you guys this, and I've got to be honest. I am often very insecure about who I am. In terms of my race, well, I'm just gonna say race. You know what I mean. I sometimes feel very insecure about who I am. My race, my body, when compared to other people. And I did not have this insecurity until I discovered the internet, until I discovered Reddit, until I discovered incel forums. I realized this when I came to Australia, because when I was a Vietnamese boy, I was the same as any other kids at my primary school. Yellow skin, straight, jet black hair, almond-shaped eyes. I was like any other kids. But when I came to Australia, it became very obvious to me that I am different from the majority of the other kids. These differences are not really what made me insecure about myself. It's much later in life when I discovered the internet and I stumbled across porn videos. That's when I started to realize, hey, by the way, there's this new insecurity. By the way, you are a manlet, framelet, wristlet, eyelet. I don't know. I didn't know that I was a manlet until I stumbled across Elliot Rodger, the Supreme Gentleman, in his videos. I thought I was normal size until I watched porn videos and I see all of these guys with knee slappers. What is the average length of someone's penis? You don't know. And there's no actual studies to show that the average length is this. Who are the men who volunteered to be in these studies? Surely it's not an accurate representation of everybody in society. Surely it's the men who are proud of their Johnson's size, that put their hands up to get their penises measured. Surely those guys got their penis measured, and this would heavily skew the results. Why would a small guy want to get his Johnson measured? I don't know. Why am I talking about size? This is another insecurity of mine. Asian are generally shorter. We all know that because of our environment. We are rice farmers. We don't hunt. We don't kill animals for food. If you think about it, we don't eat a lot of meat. So we grow to be shorter because we have adapted to our environments. Imagine a massive Asian man, rice farmer. Firstly, he got to bend down to pick the crops. Secondly, his body mass would be so large that he would require a lot of food to sustain himself. He's not going to survive in our environment because we don't hunt, we farm. So that's why our people are smaller. But then you might be asking me, how come you guys are smaller everywhere? But it would make sense that we are smaller because, as I've said before, we are rice farmers. We live in those sort of environments. More mass requires more nutrients. And because we are smaller in general, why would we need something that is unproportionately bigger than ourselves? I mean, just look at our sisters, Asian girls. They are small, they are petite, and so are the men. Why do we need such massive knee slappers? It's just not gonna fit. That's just the way nature works, guys. Now, why am I talking about this? If women only favor the biggest, the tallest men there are in the world, the most attractive men there is, then there wouldn't be any of us here. All of us short guys, all of us manlets with small penises, we wouldn't be walking around on this earth. But research seems to suggest that penis size do not have a strong enough selective pressure to have an impact on mate choice. In other words, women don't really choose who to have children with based on the man's Johnson's size, because look around you. How come there are still people with small penises walking around? If women only choose who to procreate with based on how big the guy is, there wouldn't be any small people walking around. So it has to be something else. It has to be something else that benefits the human species as a whole, more than size. Surely there's one thing that you can agree with me, and that is there are more important things to look out for when selecting a partner, when selecting someone to be the father of your children, more so than penis length and size. If penis length is really the only thing women look for, then everybody who has a big Johnson would be walking around like a sex offender, showing their penis to the world, not wearing any pants. Pants? Never heard of it. Look at how big my dick is. Look at my balls. But this is not the case. How come we're still wearing pants? And how come women are still choosing to have sex with people who have tiny penises, and now I have a small penis? Everybody is wearing clothes nowadays. You don't really know how big a guy is until you have made the conscious decision to lay down with that man, to share a part of your body with him, and consequently share a part of your soul with this man, whom might be the father of your children. Most men do not get this easily. It really takes something else for women to open themselves up like that to you, to expose herself, to be vulnerable, to give up her body and let you do the natural obligation. It's something else, because if it's purely size, then we would all be walking around with no pants on. I don't see anybody doing that. I can't be the only one doing it. I mean, if you guys are down, then I would do it, but no one is doing that. So we are doing something else to attract women. Surely, it's not the penis size. So is this over for a lot of you who are self-proclaimed little men who suffer from little man syndrome? No, it's not over. Quite the opposite, actually. I feel liberated after speaking these thoughts. I've come to appreciate my body, my genetics, what I look like, what my body composition is usually like, my hair distribution, my height, and most importantly, my penile length. This came directly from my ancestors. The fact that I possess these traits mean that they do not hinder our survival in the past. They might not provide some sort of advantage, but they do not hinder us from doing what we did. And my ancestors, they hold the blueprint to survival in the environments that they lived in. Why can't I do the same thing? Why? I have complete faith in myself. I have complete faith that this person, this being, is capable of surviving in his environment and possibly is going to pass on his genes to the next generation. The other thing I want to say is that do not be ashamed of your race. Diversity in the most basic form, genetic diversity, is a blessing. It is something that is necessary. Do not be ashamed of your race. The most healthy, the most successful offsprings, they have parents that share a diverse gene pool. Diversity is our biggest strength. Remember that. So do not hesitate to ask out that Asian guy. He has beautiful genes, and you guys will make beautiful babies. Okay, enough of that. I love you all. God bless. Stay strong, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace.